Adams, Massachusetts, tucked away in the shadow of the Berkshires. It's a place where most people pass through on their way to somewhere else. But if you slow down long enough to look, you'll see that there's more than meets the eye. This town, once driven by mills and manufacturing, has quietly reinvented itself. It's a place where nature whispers through the trees, and the rugged mountains surrounding it seem to guard secrets of their own. In North Adams, history isn't just in the textbooks, it's in the streets, the faces, and the pride of those who stayed when the factories closed. This is a town that knows hard work, but it also knows the art of slowing down. Here, there's no rush, just the steady hum of life in the heart of the Berkshires. Let's see what happens when you stop for a minute and really take it all in. I'm looking over my 4-page script here that, I never followed. I had a great framework here, and I showed up and I didn't follow any of this. And the video shows, which you'll see. I was a little disappointed in the town, as you'll probably see, but I didn't know what to expect. Maybe if the art museum was open, well, we'll get into that. I hope this thing doesn't go way off the rails. I started the day here and explored a little bit around there. Again, I don't even know how this is going to unfold. Your guess is as good as mine.
You know, there's a lot of travel vloggers and content creators out there that are really creating some really impressive and great content with simply their iPhone. A sharp contrast, of course, to my own personal collection and menagerie.
It's not open. It's a little early for that. What time do they open? I haven't seen any signs here. Noon? Oh, come on. I pulled out of the hotel, walked across the street, made a right-hand turn, walking down Main Street here, and that I know was a hyperlapse, but that stretched to the right there up until where I am now. There isn't a single store or storefront that has anything in it. Pretty sad. Jack's Hot Dogs. There you go. Their hours are 3 to 7. I will be gone. So when I pulled in town, I thought it was like an art college, and it turns out it's the largest contemporary art museum in the country. Morning. Another vacant store here, storefront. That was the only person I've seen on the street, by the way. Well, this is depressing. I got to be honest with you. I was expecting, based on the cute little hotel that I checked into last night and the conversation I had, I guess this art gallery, this contemporary art museum actually, is kind of what drives this town. That's what they're telling me as a destination for people to come and visit, but I'm still looking. Actually, I was kind of on a walk to get a coffee or a Danish. Oh, there's a little plant store. Are we gonna find coffee? That's the question. Hope you enjoyed my little tour of North Adam. You probably can't see anything but my reflection. Hello. Uh-oh, guess what? Bakery. Coffee, muffins, and cupcakes. That's me. Empty. Empty. Well, this is a shame. It is cute. what they did down the main drag there for autumn. Bunch of pumpkins out, flowers, a little bistro in the corner. You know, I don't really know if this is going to be interesting or not. It's probably not. But if you're traveling to Adams, maybe it might give you a... Well, let's just see what's going on here with the real estate. Let's pick one. Well, you could stay in Williamstown, $895,000. It's a little, oh, there's a little artist loft. Are we on that? Yeah, $330,000. It's an artist live-work loft located downtown. Looks like something my brother ate when he was little, and it was poisonous, so that we had to induce vomiting. Not a good memory, but look at all these things. So there's the art place over there. I have a bizarre fascination with the absurdity of modern and contemporary art. I frequently go to museums, and well, when I was traveling Europe a lot, I would love to go to the Paris, larger European cities to well, experience the absurdity firsthand. So I was chatting with the person I get this muffin from, and I walked in there and it looked like a bomb had gone off downtown, and I was the only person here. I asked her, I said, so what's going on down here? I'm traveling, I'm trying to understand places within one day. And I don't want to generalize, but it seems pretty depressed down here. All the stores are empty. I should have got her on camera, I should have asked her, but she said, you know, we took a hard hit during COVID and we never bounced back. And what I felt like saying is, well, you reacted, the government reacted a certain way. It really wasn't, in my opinion, COVID as much as the response to COVID. You know, some states didn't shut down. North Dakota or South Dakota didn't shut down. Florida kind of shut down shortly, briefly, but we opened up pretty quick. Yes, it affected businesses like mine that didn't bounce back. Some, but some are thriving again. They're having parties and events. Restaurants are thriving. It was bizarre. I mean, we put things in place where you could still dine with ridiculous plexiglass dividers, and you know, we made it work. But to hear that a town like this, the small shops shut down and never bounce back, is really heartbreaking to witness. And that's what I'm witnessing right now. And I'm not making it up. I mean, this is actually what somebody told me that lives here. And I said, hey, it's pretty slow out. I don't see many people out. I'm surprised. She's like, well, the museum's closed today. I says, so does that really drive the economy here? She's like, pretty much. So on Tuesday, when the museum's closed, it's a ghost town. And I happen to be here.
All right, there I go again, generalizing and trying to figure out a town in a short walk to get some coffee, and what looks to be an okay muffin. Now, before I dive into all that, I had a conversation with somebody downstairs at the place that I got this coffee here in the hotel, and it turns out she's an artist herself. And she was just a wealth of information, a lot of which I didn't retain. But we had a really good talk. We were talking about art schools around here and embracing art. Again, she was an artist. I don't remember in fact, she didn't tell me what her medium was, but she was here traveling as well. It was a great conversation. I said to her, I says, you know, you look like somebody that's pretty knowledgeable. You could actually give somebody a tour here. And you look like you'd be somebody that was interesting to do a story about. And, you know, kind of the lead up to that, of course, I didn't ask her if I could video her, like I never do. By the way, my favorite little camera, my Osmo Pocket, I was fumbling with it in the hallway, trying to get my room key out, dropped it on the ground, and, well, It's not working now. Okay, now it's on. Let me see if it works now. Oh, I think it's working. Cool, let me see. Turns around. Excellent. It's working. You fixed it. I showed you yesterday, there was in Studio 3 downstairs, there was a collection of small little trinkets of, little plastic characters and various things. Apparently that, and I didn't know, was Norman Rockwell's son. And the relevance to Norman Rockwell here, and why I even brought it up, was, well, number one, that, but the museum, the Norman Rockwell Museum and Gallery, is here. It's actually in Stockbridge, which is south of here. It's on my way toward Hudson. I hope they're open. Going to look into that. A place called the Mohawk Trail. It's supposed to be a pretty scenic drive. Also down in Stockbridge is a place called the Red Lion Inn. I guess it's the same owners that own this hotel own that, and they own another really cool hotel that overlooks the museum here. The contemporary, what's it called again? Hold on. MassMoCA, the Massachusetts Museum of Contemporary Art. Close to here is a town called Williamstown. It's a college town. It's supposed to be a little bit more vibrant. I might drive through there. Place I saw called the Greylock Works. It looks to be an artist community of sorts. Might check that out. And then there's a state park here called Natural Bridge State Park. And the girl that I was talking to last night at dinner showed me a picture on her phone. She walks her dog there every day. It's a really cute little, park. So we got stuff to do, places to go, hopefully people to see. And I'm gonna finish this coffee and muffin and depart North Adams. I can't tell you how happy I am that I got this thing working. This my favorite camera, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Not sponsored, but link below. So I'm gonna hit the road here, and again, I just want to say a couple things. One, I didn't mean to dog this city. It's a cute little town. It's just that I guess I was a little disappointed. You may see a totally different side of this place if you come here. Go to that museum or gallery or museum. Mike, it's the Mass Museum of Contemporary Art. MassMoCA is what they call it. Anyway, it is absolutely gorgeous here. So you would see a totally different side of this place if you came here. Whoa! And this, it was open, and you maybe ate at that Italian place across the street. You captured the color or absorbed the color around here. Maybe a couple more stores will be open on Main Street. I don't know. Again, you'll see a different side. I chose to look for the amount of places that were open. And the vacancies would, as a real estate investor and also just an observer of spaces, I was a little let down. I expected to see more. Expected to see more of that small town New England charm, if you would. And I'll probably find that as I keep traveling. So anyway, I want to kind of end it on a positive note. Got a beautiful view here. One of the neat things about in fact, I'll take a cell phone picture now that we're chatting about it. It's going to be a fun day. I think I got room in the car. Come along. So apparently this was an old marble quarry. It says the marble quarry stone cutting prior to 1810 was likely unorganized and unregulated. Not many people here. I'll give you a quick tour. So this area is fenced off, but I think this is the Natural Bridge. Here I am clowning around in New England, running around, and I gotta tell you, it's been kind of tough when you watching what happened in North Carolina and what's just
hauling ass toward Florida right now. I've worked over there several times on the West Coast, in Tampa, Clearwater, Fort Myers, Sanibel, all those places. Here I am looking at this beautiful area here, and we're about to get pummeled. To think about the power of water. Water's a beautiful thing, but it can do some damage. It probably wasn't as profound as I thought it was going to be, but how the water just cut its way through this area. Created a natural bridge back there. Another day on the discount tour. I got nothing more than this is a quarry and it's pretty and it's our first stop. I have impeccable timing as I was coming up the hill. It's like 50 people just arrived. Onward we go. Up next, Greylock Works. Let's go.
A lot of people, the good news is, or just before we called you in, I received information that...
So I was driving into town from this state park, and I saw a couple of cute streets, so I decided to, before I leave this town, and as I'm listening to the president give a briefing on the hurricane, it's about to slam into Florida. Very surreal, by the way, right now, where I am and what's going on. This is the little... Look how cute this little road is. So we'll look, I'm looking to the left and right, and it seems like every single store has something in it. Well, there are all little art galleries. There's a beauty salon. Well, no, nothing's in there. Vacant. Store to the right is vacant. Store to the left is vacant. That one's vacant. Oh, I spoke too soon.
From Florida to North Carolina have been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledge what this team is doing. And they're doing an incredible job. We got a lot more to do.
At the light, turn left onto Veterans Memorial Drive.
Why do they shuffle the president out so fast and they don't let people ask questions?
So we watch because every now and then those reporters shouting questions over the handlers of the president, the White House screaming, "You got to go now, get out," blah, 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 blah. Every now and then you might hear a question get answered, but we just saw a smile there. And I would imagine it's awkward for everybody in the room because as journalists, we're hearing from people in places like North Carolina, and Virginia, and Tennessee, and South Carolina, and Florida, and Georgia. They need help. And this government was slow to act. And they can sugarcoat it if they want, but it's still a bitter pill.
Well, like him or not, we now have a president, a year later, that actually answers questions. All the time. Anyway, I'm pulling up to this place called Greylock now, and I think I may have actually scored an interview here.
Reminds me of my old shop. It says it's a co-working space and a distillery. Let's see if they're open.
It began when it was built. It was a cotton factory where they wove cloth. After the cotton went out, they had different businesses in here. They had an aluminum factory where they made ski poles and stuff like that, hollow aluminum tubes. They also had Novtex, which was a little, those little trinkets you buy, you know, they're all knitted together, and then they had a machine shop at the other corner of the building, and I can't remember the name. And in the back of the building, they had a place called Aluminum Anodizing, and they did whatever they do with chemicals to aluminum. Old Stone Mill from Adams printed wallpaper here.
Oh, wow. So then what was the jump in the evolution to what it is now? Because this is a really unique space.
After all these businesses moved out, Carides ran a wholesale business out of here. And the building pretty much was, you know, just an old factory building inside. And this has all been planned and built by Leighton Bills, which is a company from Brooklyn. Sal Perry and Carla Rothstein are Leighton. They're the ones who designed and built everything you see so far. They bought the building in 2015. It's not developed yet, but it's written up.
And what is that going to be?
Restaurant, entertainment.
That's a revitalization of downtown.
Yep. What is there right now is just the brick.
Yep.
This is parking lot back here. This is a church back here.
Wow, that was just that area I was at. See, I didn't even know. And look, they rent it out for events. This space here we're going to look at next. Taken 2015.
800 seated.
And what kind of events do you have in here?
Since summer till now, there has been conferences, weddings. There was a gay pride celebration in June. Last weekend was Pops Cares. Pops Cares is an organization in North Adams that helps people dying from cancer. They give them money to use for whatever they want, things they need, things they want, just to make their life a little bit easier with the time they have left.
It's a pretty big philanthropic community here.
Yes.
In Adams?
This weekend, on Saturday, we have a corporate dinner, and Sunday we have another wedding.
Oh, cool.
And next week is a wedding, and the week after that is a wedding. So
Weddings, yeah.
October is a popular month.
Yeah.
If you go out there,
I don't think I could have found a more interesting place to stop at here. Guy's name was Norbert. He gave me a little bit of a rundown of this whole place, and as you saw, and I probably interjected some B-roll of the place. Thank you so much, Norbert, I believe his name was, and it's exactly what I was hoping my old warehouse was going to be, Grandview Market. Link below to Grandview Market. It's in West Palm Beach. And, you know, they have the food and stuff there, but they don't have the art. And they don't have the huge space that they have here. But very cool. And thank you so much again for the tour. And, yeah, there's like a building that's got like 4 floors of lofts in. You could live down here. I think there's a lot more to North Adams. Like way more than I was able to capture in a day, for sure. I have a different perspective all of a sudden. I think even though that art gallery doesn't employ a lot of people, it indirectly certainly affects the town. And I think a lot of places like this are kind of indirectly successful because of that. He showed me the hill that I just photographed on the way in. He's pretty proud of this place. I don't know what he does here.
but he was just sitting in the co-working space. He might work maintenance. He might be one of the principals. I have no idea, but I really appreciate the quick personal tour that I was given. And he was, like I said, he was photographed. He showed me on his phone the pictures he took earlier today. The clouds were coming through, or the fog in front of the color. It's an amazing time of year. All right, that was fun. Hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, Mike, what's with the cough? We're heading now to Williamstown, which is a college town just a little west of here, and we're gonna check that out. Come along, won't you? You know, it's not often I shove a camera in somebody's face or ask if I can record them. He was really open to being recorded, which was great. But I have had a lot of conversations with people, and I think I try to come back and express what I gathered from those conversations, because, well, it just adds some flavor to what I'm doing here and what I'm seeing. Very curious. I was thinking of Anthony Bourdain's tagline in his in No Reservations. I think it changed in Parts Unknown, but it used to be, I write, I eat, I travel. No, was it? I'm
Anthony Bourdain. That's right. I write, I travel, I eat, and I'm hungry for more.
That's me, man. I'm hungry for more. I want to know more about everything, you know? I like to hear the stories of just everyday people and what they're doing, their successes in life, their pivot moments. Positive stories, I think, more than the negativity that's around us at all times. All you gotta do is turn on the radio, satellite radio, scan the news channels, and it's there. But there's beauty around us too, regardless of what's happening on the globe. Skating around the negativity and the natural disasters. You got to immerse yourself in and help. You can't just avoid life, but I don't know. I'm rambling, aren't I? It's going to be one of those days.
Yes, my friend, you were definitely rambling. And that's why we're bringing this thing in for a quick close. I was talking to my friend Frank the other day. I says, honestly, do you think I'm pushing it with these videos being over a half hour long? And he's like, well, yeah, I want to be respectful of your time here. I think I'm going to definitely have like a half hour limit max. I'd love for these to be 10 minutes, but I'm having a hard time editing all of what I'm saying. Anyway, there's a lot more to come for the rest of this day, and I think I'm going to do that on an episode that I'll start editing and release next week. And that will be it's a really scenic drive I took. And then I end up in Hudson eventually. I'm not really sure how that one's going to turn out either. Hopefully this one wasn't too bad. You may have learned something, and, well, you just enjoyed a little trip with me here as I visited North Adams, Massachusetts. Thanks for joining me on the journey here. Anyway, we'll just take this thing out with a little, just a little time lapse I did the night that I arrived there. It was like 400 or 500 images, I think. I think it turned out pretty good. Anyway, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for joining me. As always, more on all of this later.